Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Pigskin Addicts back again with another video. So if you guys pay attention to the details of the NFL salary cap, transactions, things like that, you would know that the NFL has raised the 2023 salary cap from $208 million to $224 million now. So I think most teams are really excited about that. If you look at a team like the Chicago Bears, right? They have the most cap space available right now of any team, right? And with another, $16 million to play with now, they can really bolster their roster, right? They have the number one pick in the draft. And with all that cap space, they can really turn the corner within 1 year. And, the salary cap being raised, it really helps a team like that. Now, as far as the Chargers are concerned, the salary cap being raised doesn't really do a whole lot. This team is really pot committed to pretty much all of the players that they signed last year. And this is where, things are going to get a little tricky for management. It's going to get tricky for Brandon Staley. And this is one of those situations that could be a huge failure, right? If the Chargers are not able to get back to the playoffs and if they're not able to have some type of playoff success, this could be a huge failure. And if that does happen, I expect the team to kind of have a fire sale, right? I don't expect them to rebuild or restart. You don't do that when you have a top 5 quarterback like Justin Herbert, but they are going to have to cut some salary. And, I think they're already going to have to do that this season. But going forward, they are really going to have to manage the salary cap a lot better than they have over the past year or so. Now, as far as the Chargers are concerned going into 2023, they have a lot of money tied into defense. A lot of money tied into defense. And I've talked about it on this channel before. The modern NFL is offensive driven, right? It is quarterback driven. And when you have one of the best quarterbacks in the league, you must exhaust all of your resources to get him everything that he needs to succeed, right? The Chargers are built opposite of the way that, the Super Bowl contending teams are built now, right? Super Bowl contending teams are built with a great quarterback. They have a bunch of weapons around him, right? They fortified the offensive line. Even though, you look at a team like the Bengals, they had injuries, but coming into the season, they made moves to fortify their offensive line. Obviously Kansas City did that a couple years ago after their whole offensive line pretty much went down in the Super Bowl. So there's things that you need to do in order to compete. And I think the Chargers are not there yet. So when you look at the salary cap, when you look at who's getting paid with the Chargers, right? Here's just a few names, right? Just a few names, and I'm going to break this down. So I already said the salary cap for 2023 is going to be $224 million, right? So let's look at some of the cap hits for this season. Joey Bosa has a $31 million cap hit this season, right? This is obviously way too much. It's obviously way too much. And I think if, Joey Bosa doesn't take a pay cut, if he's not in, line for that, then this will probably be his last year as a Charger. The Chargers can cut him next season and have a very small dead cap hit. I believe it's like $3 or $4 million. So it's not going to break the bank to let him go after this season. But I do think that he will play this season out. I don't think anybody's going to trade for him. Nobody wants to incur this cap hit on their books, right? For a guy who is good, but he's not great. He's not great. He's not worth $31 million as far as a cap hit. Now, Khalil Mack is right underneath that. $27 million cap hit for Khalil Mack going into 2023. I've seen some stuff, some little rumblings. Maybe the Chargers can cut him and all of that stuff, and I don't believe that that's going to happen. Brandon Staley loves Khalil Mack. So I don't think that he is going to be cut. I don't think he's in any danger. I think he will be a Charger in 2023. Going forward, though, we'll see what happens, but he will be a Charger in 2023, in my opinion. Now, from here, right? J.C. Jackson is a $17 million cap hit in 2023. J.C. Jackson's cap hit in 2022 was $8 million, right? So when you look at the cap going up by $16 million, right? J.C. Jackson, his cap hit is half of that. Right, it's already half of that because his cap hit goes up from 8 to 17, right? So that's $9 million more of a cap hit in 2023 than it was in 2022. So that's what I'm saying. The salary cap being, as high as it is right now, it really doesn't benefit the Chargers all that much. They're still going to have, trouble, really getting under the cap and having enough money to sign, maybe a free agent here or there, right? They're going to have trouble doing that. So Again, J.C. Jackson, $17 million cap hit. Obviously had the bad injury last year. We'll have to see how he looks, in the 2023 season. That injury was very, very bad, though. His recovery looks like it's going good, so that's a good sign. But, there's a lot of unknown there with J.C. Jackson. Now, Austin Johnson, $9.5 million cap hit in 2023. Same thing with Austin Johnson. He had a very, very bad injury, very bad knee injury. And knee injuries are a little more taxing on bigger guys, right? There's more weight on that knee, and when it gives out, it takes a long time to repair. Flexibility doesn't always come back. So, again, there's a lot of unknown there with Austin Johnson as well, too. Now, Michael Davis, $9.4 million cap hit. To me, this is fair. It's a fair number, especially for as well as Michael Davis played in 2022. This is fair to me. I'm completely okay with that. I'm sure the Chargers are okay with that as well, too. Especially, with the unknown with J.C. Jackson's injury. Michael Davis, $9.4 million cap hit. I'll take it, every day of the week. So that's not too bad. Derwin James, $9.1 million cap hit. Not bad as well either. He is the highest paid safety in the league, right, by annual average, but a $9 million cap hit, it's not going to break the bank, right? It's good for a player of his caliber. So it's a team-friendly cap hit for 2023. And then Sebastian Joseph Day, $9 million cap hit as well. And to me, he played well, so I think he deserves it. But all in all, right, when you add just these guys up, right, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 guys on defense take up half of the salary cap, right? This is a 53-man roster. 7 guys take up half of the salary cap. That's $112 million in cap hits, right? With the salary cap being at 224. That's exactly 50%, right? So now the money is being spread very, very thin to fill out the other 46 positions, right? Now you have some rookies. You have Zion Johnson. You have Asante Samuel Jr. still on his rookie deal. You have guys like that on their rookie deals, Rashawn Slater as well. But going forward, right, the Chargers got to manage this. They must manage this because, to me, this is a overpaid defense. And, the defense did not play well last year. They have not played well in the past couple of seasons. But this iteration with these players, it just wasn't all that great last year, right? They were, I believe they ranked 23rd in the league, right? So you're looking at a bottom 8 defense, bottom 8, bottom 9 defense. For all of this money that they have on that side of the ball, it's inexcusable, right? And the way that you do this, if you're going to build a defensive juggernaut, it's got to have the right coach to it, right? And I already think that Brandon Staley is not the right defensive coach, right? He does do some good things and all that stuff, but he's not the right coach to bring, everything out of all of these guys who are getting paid all of this money. So the Chargers are going to have to manage this thing. Now, going forward, right, Kellen Moore, obviously the new offensive coordinator now. I think the Chargers have a direction on offense. When you look at how the Cowboys offense was able to run, right, you kind of want to recreate some of that. So I think they have a direction on offense. But going forward, right, especially in free agency and the draft, the Chargers must focus on the offensive side of the ball. They have to get Justin Herbert weapons. He needs weapons. He needs weapons. He needs weapons. He needs weapons, and he also needs offensive line, right? He needs more offensive line. You got to draft. You got to sign, right? You have to fortify that, before you do anything else. Offensive line and more weapons. That is the way to win in today's NFL. And again, talents like Justin Herbert do not come around all that often, right? This is a generational guy at quarterback. He needs more talent on the offensive side of the ball. I love Mike. I love Keenan. But you need guys that can break the game open, right? When you look at all of the teams, right? Just the Final Four teams, right? We know who's in the Super Bowl now. But just when you look at championship weekend, right? All 4 teams had guys who can break the game open. All of them do. All of them do. And that's pretty much how the modern NFL is. The Chargers don't. They don't have that. You're not going to nickel and dime your way down the field to scoring, 35, 38 points. You just can't do that. You need guys who are going to be able to take pressure off of your quarterback, right? You need guys who are threats to catch a ball at 5 yards and take it 30 or 40. You need that. You just need it in the modern NFL. There's no way to get around it. It's just no way to get around it. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks about it. When you look at the blueprints of the teams that are getting to the Super Bowl, that are contending, that are getting to championship games, you got to look at the rosters and you got to look and see that they have explosiveness. That's what they need. And that's what Justin Herbert needs so much. He needs somebody with some explosion on offense, right? Again, Jalen Guyton went down, but to me, Jalen Guyton is not that guy. He's a straight line speed guy. You need somebody that has explosiveness, right? Not just straight, straight line down the field, but you need somebody with some lateral quickness. You need somebody who can catch the ball on, the left hash, make somebody miss, cross, go all the way across the field, right? And not even scoring touchdowns, but really breaking games open, right? Getting the ball in a playmaker's hands, having to make a play, getting some momentum, being able to do those type of things. That's what the Chargers miss. And again, you're not going to nickel and dime your way down the field with a bottom 8 defense. You're just not going to do that. So the Chargers, they are not built correctly. And this is something that I've talked about. I'm going to continue talking about this all off season long. They need to be built better because having 7 guys take up half of the salary cap on defense, not even on offense, on defense, it just doesn't work. And then, even if you want to account for Mike's cap hit in 2023 and Keenan's cap hit in 2023, now that's, close to $150 million just with 9 players, right? $150 million of a $224 million salary cap with 9 guys, right? So at that point, you can't build any depth behind them, right? You can't get anybody in there, as far as credible backups, right? If these guys go down, then that's pretty much your season. And that's what the Chargers were dealing with a lot in 2022. So this draft, this free agency period is going to be crucial for how the Chargers are able to build their team out, right? Specifically the offensive side of the ball. It needs to be better. It needs to be more explosive. It needs to be a little younger at wide receiver. This is just how to win in the NFL. It's you can have your favorites, right? You can have your favorite players that you have stuck with since they came in the league and all of this stuff, but there is a way to win in the league. There's a blueprint. There is a clear blueprint to winning in the league. And if you are, so hard-headed or so stubborn that you don't want to follow that blueprint, you can't be mad when you don't get to where you want to go. Right? You just can't do it. There's a blueprint. It's a copycat league, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with copying how a team is successful, especially when you build a roster out, right? You see a team that's successful, you kind of want to do the same thing, and you should be doing the same thing. That's how you learn. And, for the Chargers to not be doing that now is, it's a little worrisome. And again, all of this money, the Chargers are very top heavy. So again, draft free agency is going to be very crucial. But I thought I would just make this video just to break down how top heavy the Chargers are. And if any of these guys, a couple of them have already been injured, but if any of them go down again next season, they're going to be in trouble. The Chargers are going to be in huge, huge trouble. So I just wanted to come on here and just make this video and kind of break it down and give my opinions on, the new salary cap and how the Chargers are going to be able to manage it. But that is all I got for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I really appreciate it. Shout out to all my new subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. Hit that subscribe button down below. And I'll be back again tomorrow with more content. And until next time.